My producers tell me you support segregation.
If I could segregate something again, maybe separate but equal, if it was actually equal, wouldn't have been that bad.
I don't think that integrating our school systems served us.
What? You know what? It. Segregate us. Segregate us. I'm tired of this.
I have to come back to this video because you know what? That don't sound too bad right now. I don't want to kick it with you. I don't want to skate with you. No. I'm tired of you motherfuckers. Imagine working in a workplace with just black people. Mine ain't got business. You ain't got to worry about a motherfucker snitching on you or watching your every movie. Don't sound too bad. All black restaurants. Don't sound too bad. All black banks.
So this clown at the beginning of the video is going off about how they favor segregation. Now, I'm not going to get yet into my thoughts on that topic. I'm going to let Trevor Noah and this woke professor get into it first. But I want to go ahead and just say this about segregation and how I feel about the black community in general and what I have seen in my personal life and what I believe to be true versus what this fool was saying. To imply that ain't nobody gonna be messing with you, ain't nobody gonna be nosy, everything's just gonna be cool and harmonious. I'm like, have you never been around your own community? Because I've worked at places where the entire team I've worked on is all black, where the leadership team is black. I have been to doctors' offices where all of the staff and doctors and everybody is black. I have been to restaurants where everybody's black. Usually, I want to say about, I don't want to say 99%, but I'll go with a solid, confident 95%. The black ran places, the black teams is always operate inefficiently, bad customer service, somebody being ghetto, people being ratchet, people fighting, people not want to do what the hell they're supposed to do, people not showing up on time. Is just ridiculous, guys. And it's been that way my entire life. As far as I can tell, it's been that way since before I was born. This just seems like it is an inherent part of the community. Again, 95%. So is there 5% of the time where everything is great when black folks is running it and, you know, you got black teams or black hospitals, black restaurants? Sure. But usually you go into a place and all you see is black people in that place. You don't see nobody else. You probably gonna see somebody playing around, doing this on their phone, not paying attention, somebody playing with their nails, people not showing up, people not paying attention when you try to talk to them. All black schools I used to go to. I mean, you name it, these places were shitty. Okay, I'm just keeping it a buck. But that's without getting into segregation. I'm gonna go ahead and let Trevor Noah get deeper into what he has to say with this woke professor about segregation. I'll give you my thoughts either in the middle, afterward. We gonna see.
I found myself wondering, and this applies to America, and then maybe it'll go to other places in a different way because Finland ties in. Do you think that integration was the right move? Like, and now I'm separating two things because I know in America people are like, well, of course, I mean, there was racism and there's segregation. And I go, yeah, no, I'm separating them. Let's separate someone being oppressed and someone not being.
Before he says anything, I'm curious, what do y'all think and why do you think integration was the right move? Again, I'll tell you my thoughts in a minute.
Being able to get a job and someone not being able to get a bank loan. Let's take all of those, the negative things away, because I'll put myself out personally and say, I think whether we're talking about gifted kids.
Bear in mind, this dude's not from America. I want y'all to remember he's from South Africa. So.
Who are anomalous, let's say, to the norm. Whether we are talking about, and I mean anything that does not fit into a category. I think the part of the reason Finland is able to do it is because, have you been to Finland?
It's very homogeneous.
I've been to Finland. You know who's in Finland? Finnish people. That's it. That's it. And because they're all Finnish, there's an idea of like, no, we all head in the same direction. We all know what our actions mean. And that's a really powerful thing I've learned in communicating with other people. When I'm in a room with anyone where we start to tie together multiple things. So if I'm in a room with black people, already there's like an implicit trust because we know what certain actions, words, and vibes mean.
I don't know what that means. Look, in terms of being robbed. I've literally been robbed by black people. My biggest haters on this channel was it's a pretty big and hefty contest. It's neck and neck between the white liberal males and the beta black males. So I don't know who are my biggest haters, but I think the people who call me the most names is probably the black males. But anyway, guys, let's
And then you're in a room with another African. Already. Now, even if you shout at me, I know what your shout means. The same way an Italian knows what an Italian shout means.
Yeah.
Right? I know I'm prefacing it with a lot because
Yes.
it's a loaded question.
Yes.
But I would love to know if you think integration was the right solution, maybe, on the other side of, what
Yeah.
America, of civil rights.
Yeah. No, I don't. And I don't think it's actually that controversial when if you understand that segregation and integration weren't the only options. Like those are within those two options, it may seem like integration is the more progressive. Like, of course, we don't want segregation. But again, when you're being integrated into institutions, into a culture that's a supremacist culture, that's a culture that feeds off of hierarchy, that feeds off of insecurity, anxiety, why are we being integrated into that?
Well, the first thing I would say in response, at least to that last comment, is find me a society that is prosperous, that doesn't have some sort of hierarchy. I don't believe that such a place exists. There's going to be hierarchy based off of, it could be race. The biggest one in America right now is based off of the class of wealth, the amount of wealth that you have. That's the biggest divider right now. It could be based off India, like the caste system and whatnot. Like, it just depends. In a lot of the Asian countries, they have hierarchies based off of like what type of Asian that you are. Like, there's different variations. Like, you might see for example, a Korean person, but every Korean person is not necessarily akin to another Korean person. You see what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily as simple as some of these people love to make it out to be in America. A lot of this stuff is simpleton logic because these people don't really know enough about the history of other nations in the world at large. But anyway, guys, to give my raw thoughts on it, I think that segregation in of itself, I don't think that segregation is something that should have stayed in place because that was like, you cannot be together. But I do think that integration is not necessarily the solution either. Obviously, I'm fine with integrating. I mean, that's where we're at today, and I think it's going okay, I guess. But I think that it's something that you don't have to force. Like, for example, if things would have been separate and would have remained separate and would have been allowed to be separate, like, a lot of people don't know that there was some prosperous black communities that were very prosperous being separate. And unfortunately, the white communities didn't like that and they went and destroyed it. Now, that was back then. In this day and age, let's say there was people who like, look, we just want to be separate. I think that that's cool. I honestly believe that that's fine. I mean, hell, in Israel, I mean, that's a straight up Jewish state. Now, it's not divided by race, but I mean, for the most part, a lot of people you're going to see over there, it's probably going to be just a bunch of white Jewish dudes for the most part, like not even really that many women. It's mainly a bunch of Jewish men over there. But there's other people that are non-white, but I'm just talking about generalities here. But in general, if there's some sort of separation, so to speak, I don't see that as necessarily a problem. I don't see it any different than having a Christian school or predominantly historically black college where mainly black people go, or you got the PWCs, the predominantly white colleges, right? So even if it's not something that we technically are supposed to have, it's still something that we have implicitly, if that makes sense. Still have things, for example, like black businesses, right? Black banks, right? Like there's black everything. So there's already some level of segregation because that's just how some people want it. Now, here's one of the problems with this though, is I understand the historical context behind everything, but I also don't like double standards. The problem is if you have, let's say, white people saying, hey, we want to go ahead and separate everything. How do you think the black people will react to that? Oh, you're so racist. They're so this, they're so that. I mean, Majority of blacks in America are extremely racist against white people. That's just the reality of the situation. I'm sure that a lot of the black people think it's the opposite, but I'm just telling you what I have witnessed firsthand. I don't think that majority of white people are not racist. I don't know, to be honest, because I'm not a white person. I'm not hanging around white people all the time, but I do hang around black people all the time. And I tell you right now, majority of the community is not fond of white people. It is what it is. So I'm not saying that white people could do no harm. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that all of this logic that, oh, well, the black people will be safe if they just kind of just stuck together in their own communities. I mean, that's false. The majority of crime in the nation is from the black community. Violent crime. I'm not talking about cops pulling over people for freaking speeding tickets. I'm talking about murders and robberies and drugs. I mean, a lot of that stuff is mainly the black community. If you go to a lot of neighborhoods, like I'm in the South, so if you go to a lot of these like black neighborhoods, they're totally run down and everybody's trying to rob and steal and kill each other in the neighborhood to basically just survive or to get ahead, even if it's marginally. Everybody's beefing. I mean, they fighting over who block is whose, and I mean, they literally make movies about it. Like, see Straight Outta Compton, where there was some rappers beefing, and same thing for Tupac and Biggie. I mean, guys, this is a thing that is still ongoing. This isn't just history. This is still ongoing now. So when people say stuff like this, I feel like it's stupid because, one, you obviously can't be out here having white people say, yeah, we just need to separate all the niggers from everybody. You obviously aren't going to be okay with that. I don't really think it's fair to say that just because slavery and Jim Crow and all these other things happened that basically black people can just say any crazy, stupid, ridiculous thing just because of the past and everything's okay, but white people can't say anything. They can't do anything. They can't suggest anything. They can't talk about racism. They can't engage, even though, I mean, they're alive and in America too. I mean, we all have to share America, so it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I wonder what Trevor Noah would have to say if he brought a white person on the show and he was like, yeah, you know what? I agree. Let's just go ahead and separate it. I mean, are they going to be cool or are they going to be like, oh man, you're a racist piece of garbage? I feel like it would definitely be the latter, but those are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate y'all watching the Black Anomaly Rising Channel. I'm out.
What a lot of black people want is what white people have. They were told they couldn't have it. We want to win. We want to play in your
We were
sandbox.
robbed of our imagination.
Right.